The afternoon air carried the sharp scent of gasoline and leather as she stumbled through the parking lot, her red dress a stark splash against the rows of parked motorcycles. Her black boots, slightly too large, caught on the hot asphalt as she stumbled, tears blurring her vision until the world became a watery blur of desperation. The motorcycle club had claimed the diner's lot, their bikes lined up like metallic predators, engines still warm from the journey. 14 riders, 13 women and 14 men in black leather, their presence commanding without effort. The largest of them, Bear, was crouched by his Harley, fingers tracing a tire when her sobs cut through the chatter. He straightened, leather creaking, and watched as she collapsed at his feet, fists clutching his vest like a lifeline. Her face was raw with grief, eyes red-rimmed and swollen. "They're beating my mama," she whispered, the words trembling but clear. Without hesitation, Bear dropped to one knee, his massive frame folding into submission to meet her gaze. "Where is she?" he asked, voice low but steady. She pointed across the street, and in 40 seconds, with 11 others at his heels, he crossed the asphalt and the unspoken understanding that followed. Nora was 5, her small frame drenched in sweat despite the summer heat, her boots 3 sizes too big but bought with stubborn care. She had run past a gas station and a shuttered storefront without pause, guided by something deeper than fear, a child's unshakable instinct to seek help. Motorcycles loomed large and loud, their riders even larger, and when she reached the nearest one, her 5-year-old mind had settled on the most approachable figure, a man crouched by his bike, checking a tire. She had run then, legs pumping, heart racing, toward the noise instead of away from it. Bear, known as Thomas to his family but always Bear to the club, had chosen this life deliberately. 38 years old, broad-shouldered and quiet, he had built his world around consistency. Sunday calls to his daughter across states, unwavering presence. Now kneeling in the dirt, he listened as Carmen's voice wavered from the apartment window. Inside, voices rose and fell like a storm, but Bear didn't hesitate. He kicked the door open. 4 minutes later, silence. 2 men left, bruised and broken, while Carmen, 29, her lips split, wrist bruised, sat on the floor, her eyes meeting his. Ree, a seasoned rider with calloused hands and a gentler heart, knelt beside Carmen. "Let me see your wrist," she said. Carmen shook her head, but Ree persisted, finding a dislocated joint and a sprained wrist. "Ice bandages, a clinic," Ree insisted. Carmen's silence spoke volumes. "I don't have insurance," she admitted. Ree's response was simple: "We'll fix it." The afternoon stretched into evening. A locksmith replaced the broken door, support workers arrived with pamphlets and phone numbers, and Carmen finally breathed easy, her wrist wrapped, a blanket draped over her shoulders. Ree had brought tea in a travel mug, refusing to let Carmen stand in her own kitchen. Nora slept on the couch, exhausted but safe, her red dress a forgotten crimson stain. "It was always bad enough," Carmen murmured, staring at the new lock. Ree agreed. "You taught her to run toward help even if you didn't say a word." Carmen hadn't planned it. Nora had simply done what her small body knew, flee toward safety. In the golden light, Bear lingered by the door, watching Nora stir. "You saved the day," he told her gently. She nodded, still half asleep. "How do I know you won't hurt us?" she asked. Bear's voice softened. "Because you ran to us, that's our sign." When night fell, the apartment was transformed. New locks gleamed, the frame repaired, and Carmen sat with Ree sipping tea, her wrist elevated on a stack of books. "I kept thinking it wasn't bad enough," Carmen said, "but it was." Ree nodded. "Trust grows one act at a time. Someone does something hard and you remember it." "I'm adding to your list tonight," Carmen said. "Good," Ree smiled, "because we're not leaving until it's done." Bear returned last, pausing at the step to watch the scene unfold. He thought of Nora, barefoot in her oversized boots, running 3 blocks toward the loudest, scariest people she could see and finding them waiting. On his bike, he called his daughter, breaking protocol, her voice bright with surprise. "You can call any time," she said. He promised he would. As he rode home, the lesson settled in his chest. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's running toward it. Sometimes the people at the end of the run are exactly the ones you need, especially when they look like they couldn't possibly be. Real strength isn't in standing tall, it's in kneeling when someone needs you to. And real courage, it's knowing where to go when you're scared.